Hi, welcome to Carrie Creates Cards. Today I'm going to be making this beautiful card and I'm going to be using the Brusho Powders and the new Lavinia Stamps that I purchased recently. I hope you enjoy watching. Please like and subscribe. Hi, for today's card I'm going to be using a 5x7 card base and this piece of cardstock that I've cut down just 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. And I'm going to be working with the Brushos again. So the colours I've chosen are leaf green, yellow and emerald green. So I'm just going to remove the little stick out of those. And if you haven't used the Brushos before, they're powders basically. They're crystal powders and fantastic pigment in these little containers. When you add the water to them, they create kind of like a water ink, I guess, a water paint. So basically there's different ways to use them. You can put your water down first, then add the powder over, or you can put the water down first and then sprinkle the Brusho powders on it, which is the way I'm going to do it today. So I'm just coming with my water container here and I'm going to, as you can see, some of the powders already got down on the card, but I'm going to come and just sprinkle some of that around the area where I want it. That was the emerald green and this is the leaf green. As you can see, there isn't just one colour in these powders. There's several colours you can see, reds and yellows and lime coloured, and you know, and as you go back in with the water, this is the yellow. As you go back in with the water, you'll see in a minute what happens. So I'm just splitzing some of that on there now. You'll see it's like magic. It's beautiful. I really love these. Another little bit there. And you can't judge these really. You can have a good play around and you can have some sort of an idea of how they might appear, but you never know until you add the water. You don't know what you're going to get. Now they're quite wet. That's quite wet. So I'm just going to move that over to the side. And I don't think that I'll waste this. I'm going to come in with a spare piece of cardstock and lift that up. So what I'm going to do is come and just squirt that from the side. As you can see, there's lots of different ways to use these inks. I'm going to come in with this piece of cardstock and just pop it down. And I'm going to lift that up. Now I could go in and pick some more up here and there like that. You can end up with a fabulous result out of this just playing around. It's great fun. Really is great fun. Just go in at different angles and different directions, and that'll be beautiful when it dries. And if I want, I can come and add some of the crystals in with that, just to get a bit of colour variation going on there. And that's quite beautiful. So I'm also going to just put that to the side. Going to come in. You could continue doing it. You could come in with more cardstock and use up the rest of the ink. But I'm going to stop there and I'm going to come in with my heat gun. You could leave that dry naturally. See, I'm loving this. actually thinking I might even use that one. That one's really nice. I'm going to come in with my heat gun and I'm just going to go over that area with the heat tool. So as you can see, it's important to come in from the back when you're drying them as well. I'm just going to wipe down that surface. And I'm really loving this one. But as I've already got this piece cut down to size, now there's a few bits of powder crystals left on it there. I'm just going to brush them away. But I'm going to keep this for a future project. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Now I could come back in and I'll show you. If I come back in there with more water and splits, you'll get some, you know, you get something else going on again. As you can see, it just reacts with the water and it's beautiful. And I'm going to put that aside to dry because I most certainly will be using that in a future project. Just give that a wipe down now again. Like I said, I've just brushed away the few crystals that were still on the top of that. I could have come back in and added more water, but I don't really need to do that now. So, I want to use some of the new stamps that I purchased recently. So I've got this little bellflower vine, which I'd like to use. And also this thistle one I think I'm going to use. It's called Thistle Branch. So I'm definitely using them. And I'm going to have a look and see what little fairy I might like to use also. So I've decided I'm going to use Faith. I'm just going to come in here now with my stamping platform. And I'm going to pop that piece of card into the corner there. As you can see, it's warped a bit from the wet and the drying of it. But not to worry, when I put it down on the card base, I'll put it down very well and it will flatten it. So I'm going to come in now with my little fairy and just use this to see where I'd like to put her. And I'd like her placed where that light area is there. I'm just going to come pick her up. And I'm coming in with the Versafine Claire in Twilight. It's that dark navy colour, almost black. Just ink her up well. And it's important that your background is good and dry before you do this, because it won't, you can't stamp on it if it's not. As you can see, that has stamped really well. I'll just give her one more go. Just giving it a minute to make sure it's all transferred. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just going to give that a wipe off now. And I'm going to come in with this new stamp, the Bellflower Vine. And I might need to move this out from the corner, so I'm going to have to be careful that I don't move it. And I'd like to just maybe just there. I can pop that there, pick it up. And for that I'm going to come in with the rainforest. Yeah. It's beautiful. Very pleased with that stamp. It's gorgeous. It's lovely to have some new background stamps to work with. I have some lovely ones already, but I just find I'm using them over and over, and it's nice to have something alternative to work with. Now I'm going to just wipe that off. And just pop it down there. Yep. Perfect. Put another wipe down now because I'm going to move it again. I'd like to bring some of that in there from the side. I'm trying my best to try to join it up so that it doesn't look too odd. Hopefully that'll be okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. And maybe just another bit on the other side, just the same. So again, I'm trying to get my placement so that it doesn't look too odd with the stamping that's already there. And I think that that should be good. Yeah, that's lovely. Very nice. So I just did a bit of a clean up there. And the next thing I want to do is my foreground down here. So I'm going to turn my platform this way. I'm just going to pop the magnets down, have them stuck together, just to hold them. And I'm going to come in with the little Thistle Branch. Now this is a new stamp as well. So I'm just going to give it a rub over just to remove any silicone residue that may be on it. Now, if you've watched before, you'll have heard me say the older these stamps get, I think the better that they get. You know, they hold the ink better the older that they are. I'm just going to come in around about there, I think, and I'm going to pick that up. Oops, excuse me. Now, this is going to be in the way, so let's see. I may need to turn it back this way. Yeah, that'll be a better way to use it, I think. There. And I'm going to come in with Shady Lane for that. Just a different shade of green. Link that up and just come in there. So I may use the 2 shades of green for that, just to have some bit of contrast. And first of all, we'll use this one. So just to pop that down. Now, if you're wondering what this little, I don't know, what would you call it, but a stamping aid, I guess, is, it's just one that I got my husband to put together for me. I saw Gina Kay and Kathy Zelski using something similar, so I asked him if he could possibly make something for me like that, as I do suffer with arthritis in my wrist. So that's what he came up with. Now, it may not be the prettiest one, but it most certainly works, which really is all I want. Anything that helps, really. Oh, that magnet is in the way up there. That's better. I was wondering why it didn't seem to be going down properly. Here we are. I'll just give that one more inking up. And it's a lot of wiping, but if I want to move it, I need to wipe it to get the placement right, or it'll end up destroying the project. If you had it on a stamping, an acrylic block, you wouldn't have to do all of that swapping and changing, but it's worth it, I think, especially with a new stamp, even though I have to say it has stamped very well. I haven't had any problems at all anyway with it. But you've gone to the bother of doing all your lovely background with the brushos and drying it, and you don't want to fall at the last hurdle, as they say. And there we go. Yeah, that's lovely. I was going to come back in with the darker green, but looking at it now, I don't think that there's a need to do it. I'm going to come back in now. I'll show you. I find with the hand sanitizer gel, any kind of hand sanitizer that you have, it just removes. The Versafine Claire is a permanent ink. It can be hard to remove. But I find, or if you had alcohol, rubbing alcohol, anything like that, it'll remove it and it leaves it nice and clean. And I've had my stamping platform for a couple of years now. And I've done this many times and it hasn't caused any damage. Now, it's not what they recommend. Obviously, it's just something that I have discovered myself. But I'd rather use it than having it full of stains. Now I'm coming in with this little bellflower. It's a little mini one by Lavinia. And I've popped it onto this little acrylic block. And I'm going to use my Versafine Claire in the Twilight. And I'm just going to come in there and I'm going to add another little couple of those little bellflowers, just here and there where I want them. Just think that they're nice. Maybe one just there. You pardon the dog. And one about there. It just fills it in and I think it looks nice. I'm going to add another little one down here. Yep. And one there. And I'm quite happy with that. So the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm coming in with my Versafine Claire in Nocturne. And I just want to go around the edges. Pop that mat down there. Now they're kind of sticking up a bit, but do my best. Just want to darken around the edge. And because it's so dark already around the edge, I think it needed a darker colour than what was down there already. So that's why I'm using the Nocturne. I'll be honest, I think it's the first time I've ever used Nocturne to go around the edge, but yeah, I think it's going to be nice. So all this ink, it destroys your hands. Oops, I've actually gone and washed my hands in between, but it stains. But again, the hand sanitizer or a bit of alcohol is good for, might not totally take it off of your hands, but it'll kind of take, once you've washed it a few times, usually it's gone anyway. Can be embarrassing if you're going anywhere in a hurry and it looks like your hands are dirty. I've had quite a few people, well, not quite a few, but I've had an odd person here and there giving me a dirty look a couple of times in the supermarket. I'm sure they think that my hands are filthy, but I know that they're not. They're just inky. But, I think my hands must be the most washed hands in Ireland at this stage. I seem to have a thing about washing my hands anyway. I always have had ever since I had my first child, who was going to be, can't believe it, should be 36 on Tuesday. So that's a bit of a shock to the system to think I've got a 36-year-old. But anyway, I have, and wouldn't be without her for 1 minute. Nor I've got 3 children, wouldn't be without any of them, and 2 stepchildren. So there we go. I'll just do a bit of cleanup here. So next, I'm very pleased with that. I'm coming in with this double-sided tape, and I'm going to put quite a lot of it. I'm going to fill the background of the card with it, just so to get away from that warping. Just find my scissors here. Yeah, and this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it down there. Then I'm going to come in with my scissors. So there we go. I had a bit of a struggle with that. Seemed like a good idea, but anyway, I managed it finally. So I'm just going to remove the backing. And I'm going to come back in with my card base. Just this side, I think, and I'm just going to pop that down. So the little bit of white around the edge, I think, will be a nice contrast. Oh, I've done it upside down. That was very clever, Carrie. And because I didn't use double-sided glue, I haven't a hope of getting that off. But not to worry. I have an idea. I mean, I can use this anyway. I'm going to cut it in half and I'm going to adhere that onto the back of another card. So there we go. I don't think it's a total waste because I'll reuse this anyway. I'm just going to pop that down there. So that's worked out fine. And if anything, I think it might have reinforced it onto the, over the warping. It might help with it. So I'm just going to come in with my glitter pen and I'm going to pop a bit of that down onto the fairy's wings. Just a bit of sparkle. Just checking from the side that I got it everywhere that I want it. And I do. So next I'm going to come in and I'm just going to add a little bit of sparkle into those little bell flowers as well. Just to make them a little bit magical. And somebody actually posted on my videos recently and they said that when these pens run out, which I've had this one forever, but they said if you add more water into it, it'll pick up any bits of glitter that are left. Now it's not the Wink of Stella that I have, it's just, it's a different make, but I guess it's more or less the same thing maybe. But I thought what a great tip, because I wasn't aware of that. This one came in a 2-pack. Just adding a bit more there on their wings. Or sorry, on her wings, I should say. not their wings. And there we go. I think that should be nice when it dries. So there we go. That's the finished card. I'm going to just see if I think you can pick up the bit of shimmer there. In real daylight it always looks beautiful, I think. And I'm very pleased with how that's turned out. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have, please like and subscribe. And as always, thank you.